Hi, I'm Mike Miller. Welcome to the Bonsai channel. Today we're going to talk about fertilizers. Dallas Bonsai offers several types of fertilizers, and they fall into two categories, basically organic and chemical. Everyone knows that fertilizer has an NPK ratio, and that's the ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that the fertilizer has. Now, there's a big debate over the fertilizers, organic or synthetic, chemical. Which is better? Well, the truth of the matter is that the plant doesn't know, because there has to be enzymatic and fungus activity and bacteria activity on those chemicals which break it down to a form that the plant can use. So, does the plant know the difference between chemical and organic? No, it doesn't. But one thing that organics have in them is a lot of trace elements, minor minerals that are very important to a plant and its photosynthesis and this whole system. So let me go through real quick the different types of fertilizers that you can have and then how to use them. Basically, you know that the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium do specific things for a plant. The nitrogen greens up the plant. The phosphorus and the potassium, that affects the roots, that affects the budding and the flowering of the plant. So like an azalea, it would need a lot of phosphorus and potassium. High nitrogen fertilizers are going to be like your lawn fertilizers. Whereas if you were going to fertilize your trees, flowering trees, you would get an 8-10-10, a lower nitrogen than you would phosphorus and potassium. So Dallas Bonsai has a specialty fertilizer which is 0-10-10, and doesn't, you wonder why you would use a 0-10-10. Basically, there's no nitrogen in it, and that's for the fall or the winter, where you wouldn't want to be, worrying about creating green leaves because they're falling off. What you want to do is you want to get the roots prepared and the tree healthy so that next year it can throw off a lot of new growth quickly. Because as we know, what affects the roots also affects the top. If you notice yellow spots on the top, it could be the roots. If the tips of the leaves are burned, then it's more than likely you're fertilizing too much. So if we can get the roots healthy, then the top is going to be healthy. The next fertilizer is an organic. This is liquid organic, and it's probably made of fish emulsions and teas like guanos. It has a lot of the minor elements in it as well. Dallas Bonsai also has chemical fertilizer, but they add the two parts to it. You have the fertilizer and you have the vitamin. The vitamin gives you the minerals and the amino acids and the B1s that your plant needs. And so that way you can blend the NPK and the trace elements, the minor nutrients, together into one in a synthetic or chemical version of the fertilizer. The other types of organics are the pellet form. And Fujiyama is the Dallas Bonsai brand. That's what all these are, is the Dallas Bonsai Fujiyama brand. OrganoGrow is their brand, and it's pelletized. And BioGold is another top-of-the-line pelletized fertilizer. Now, why would you use a pelletized fertilizer versus a liquid fertilizer? Well, basically, I have a chart here, and hopefully you can see it. This shows the average fertilizer schedule that most people do, this blue line here. And what happens is, every week or every 2 weeks, people will fertilize. And that brings the level of the fertilizer in the soil very high. And since we have very porous soil in bonsai, plants, the nutrients are leached out of the soil. So the fertilizer levels drop as time goes by. Then we come to another area where we fertilize again. So it spikes there as we fertilize, and then as we water, it's leached out of the soil. What would be better is if we could keep a constant level of nutrients in the soil. Because like I said, the bonsai soil is very porous, so the tree, loses its ability to gather nutrients in the down cycle. So how do you keep a constant feed, which your plant would enjoy more? What you would do is either, use the pellets, which with the pellets you just sprinkle them on top, like in a pot this size, you would use basically, 15 to 20, just sprinkle them around on the surface of the plant, maybe just bury them a little bit into the soil, and every time you water, it releases nutrients into the soil so that the plant can absorb it. The other way is if you take fertilizer, I'll use the liquid organic. If you take a fertilizer and it says, this one says, use 1 teaspoon per gallon. Well, I have my 4.5 liter Bonsai watering can here, and basically I know this cap is 1 teaspoon. Well, I water this plant about 4 times a week, and I want to give it 1 gallon. I want to give it 1 cap full a week. So the easiest way for me to do that is to basically put a weaker strength solution into this watering can. So I'm going to put 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 to a 1/2 cap full into the water and mix it around. Now I can water it every day with this mixture, and it will always have nutrients going into the soil, and I won't burn it, and I won't have this spike anymore. It'll be a constant feed. Well, basically that's all there is to know about fertilizing. Just remember to keep a constant feed of fertilizer to your plants. And if you have any questions, please call Fred Meyer at Dallas Bonsai Garden. The phone number is 1-800-982-1223. Thanks, and we'll see you again real soon.